Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, where today we're live for a live stream and I'm joined by the lovely Miss RevELLEution as we're going to do some pay-per-view predictions. However, we haven't really watched any WWE lately, have we?
You speak for yourself. I've watched bits and bobs.
Well, you've watched bits and bobs. I can't even say I've watched bits and bobs. I barely watched anything. I've been too focused on WWE 2K18. So we're going to do a couple of matches in 2K18. We'll set these up now. We're going to start things off with Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens. So this is one of the matches taking place tonight. I'm going to lay down my prediction straight away on this one, even though I've not seen most of the build-up. I'm going to say Shane McMahon is going to steal the win over Kevin Owens.
Oh.
What do you think?
I don't know how I feel about that, because doesn't it kind of like undermine Kevin Owens?
It does, but I think they'll probably continue on with it. What do the people in the chat think about this? Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon, who's the money?
Kevin Owens, people are saying, well, one person said.
There just seem to be a lot of Kevin Owens fans in the chat. So let's let the chat go through. We'll see who people are favouring. But we're also going to talk quite a bit WWE 2K18 in the build-up of the game, which releases early access this Friday. I can't believe how quick this has come around. It feels like we had so long until the game was getting released. Now it's almost here. We've got all this footage, and it's like I want to play it, but I can't. I've still got like what, nearly 5 days to wait. It's crazy. So guys, if you've got any questions that you want me and Elle to answer for you, let me know about them in the chat. We're going to go through them, try and answer as many as that we can. But Elle, what would you say is the thing that you're looking forward to the most come Friday when you actually get your hands on the game?
See, I want to dive right into like custom creations and even like community creations, because you always get like the hardcore fans who make things on literally day one release. Fair enough, some of them aren't quite good, but the series creators out there who do, you get some brilliant creations because they kind of want to get the name out there, because I know last year you only got like 5 creations, so as soon as you get a great creation out there that everyone will download, they put those out first, so then they can unlock more creation spots and things like that. So it's always like a great time for, like, I know I focus on women's wrestling, but that's usually when you get the great starting out cause, and then you kind of find out who's the best in the community and things like that.
Yeah, no, I think day one, check to see which creations are online. That's when all the top creators really go for it and put out the best ones. There's always day one CM Punks, the Jeff Hardys, so I'm going to look out for them because I can't wait to get them downloaded. And I will be doing community showcase just to let people know. So that will be coming back for the start of 2K18. To go through some of your questions, the first question here is from the Silent Spider. He says, how's the physics in the game when it comes to weapons, furniture, putting people through furniture? Well, the tables, you know what it is. What I would say about this, in regards to tables, I think it pretty much is the same as 2K17, but one thing that I did notice, and I don't know if it's really come across in a lot of the videos, is the rope. The rope physics seem to be more improved this year. I've noticed people seem to interact with them a lot more. It does lead to quite a few glitches. Like there's been a few times where sort of heads have been lying on the ropes, but then again they've called the rope break, so it's kind of like a cool thing at the same time. Although there was an elimination chamber where people sort of got a bit stuck in the ropes now and again. But overall, I think once the patch that day one, it seems to be quite promising. Were you impressed with it, or?
Oh yeah, the rope glitch was definitely there. I think we had like a few when we played it in the recording session last week, but I remember seeing it in when we played it before that in a different thing, and it was totally fine. So I think a lot of things like that will be patched out. But one thing I really did love was the steps. I think overall the game's got a much bigger punch. Like I know I've said this repeatedly, but all the moves seem to have a bit more oomph behind them, and they look so much more smoother and realistic that everything feels a lot more impactful. And now that you've got things like the steps that have been improved, everything looks like it hurts 10 times more. And because of the directional throws and things like that, literally anything in the arena is a weapon now, so you can literally do whatever the hell you like and just decimate anyone.
Well, that's one of the cool things. The new sort of carry system where you can actually implement the steps into it. It just opens up so many different options. Like, I love the fact that it does direct it straight onto there, because the amount of times I've tried to move on the steps and it's just moved them out of the way. This year you can actually do it, and that is like a big difference. The only thing I would have liked to see was the bottom half of the steps get used, because they would be so much easier to actually like powerbomb someone out with. It's a flat surface. So I hope that kind of happens in the next game. Abstract WB just says that the pre-show starts in 30 minutes. So just to let people know, we're going to do this for the next 30 minutes, and then we're going to try and end it on time for 12 o'clock here in the UK, and then that'll give everyone a chance to go over and check out the pre-show. I don't actually know what's on the pre-show tonight. Do you know?
I'm not actually too sure. I think it's probably some sort of tag team match with a hype bros or something like that. I'm not quite sure.
Get hyped. Mojo Rawley's hyped for 2K18. I know the chat is. There's a lot of people asking about it. Whilst I continue here to die from this sore throat, we're going to go through a few more of your questions. So WrestleShed has asked a few times now what's going to be available in terms of DLC on day one. So far, we don't actually have any dates for any of the DLC packs. So come day one, it's going to be all of the Seen Enough edition. So we'll have Batista, he's DLC. We've got Rob Van Dam, so you'll get the two of them. If you get the Cena edition, that is, you'll also get the two versions of John Cena. ECW's arena is actually in the game, so you don't need to get that as DLC. That was quite a surprise.
It looks brilliant as well.
That's probably my favourite arena so far. And then also we've got Kurt Angle pre-order edition, bonus DLC. I think that is pretty much it in terms of the DLC. Then obviously we've got the DLC packs, but we don't know in which order they're going to be released. I think the first one will be the beginning of December. That's usually about the time that releases, so I think we'll still have about a month or so to wait once the game doesn't actually get released. What would you hope comes first? I'm looking forward to the Hardys, but
I think logically the Hardy pack is probably the best one, but I think for me I'm looking more forward to like playing as Aleister Black and Ruby Riott and things like that, because fair enough the Hardys are great, but apart from that, yeah, I don't know. I think the great thing is though, there's someone great in every pack that we're getting. Fair enough, there's not loads, but there's someone there who stands out, and it. Part of me wishes they do some sort of injustice deal where people were released separately instead of a pack, so then people wouldn't have to pay for people that they don't like. Fair enough, it means more money for 2K and things, but I think there'd be a lot more hype around it if even if they did it weekly, so you'd have Hardys one week, the next week maybe Beth Phoenix or Aleister Black, and do it like that.
Yeah, no, that would be quite a good way to do it. Are you looking forward to seeing Beth in the game?
Yeah, I'm really. Part of me is a little nervous because I do want to see like Beth get a Justice and not a carbon copy, because I know from like when they first did Alundra Blaze, it didn't look that good, and even with Ivory, it looked like Ivory, but there was something missing. So I hope they do a Justice. Fingers crossed they will, but I think I'm excited to look for Ruby Riott. I'm not a huge Ruby Riott fan, but I do want to see how good she'll look.
No, I think she will. I think she'll look good, because every model that I've seen, yes, we've been playing on PS4 Pro, but in terms of the new graphics, the one thing I'll say is the videos, it doesn't do it justice whatsoever. Like when you actually play it and you see it on the screen, it looks so much better than the videos can actually show you. And when you play it in 4K, there's actually no sort of capture cards available for 4K at the moment. So if you see it in that, it's going to look so much better than it actually does on the YouTube screen. And it kind of brings us into the question that I was going to answer next, which it isn't really a question about the game. But Subliminal says, what's the point of buying the game if YouTubers have already shown off so much already, as it leaves no surprises? But what I would say to that is, yes, the YouTubers, myself included, have showed off a lot of the footage, but we didn't even get a chance to touch the amount of stuff that is in the game. There is so many secrets. There's a few 2K things as well, what they've actually stopped us from telling you about.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff then, they're going to reveal on release day, or the early access day.
Early release access, yeah.
So that'll be Friday, so you'll probably get some more information about some other little things. It's nothing major in terms of new modes, but it is things like new creation parts and different things like that, where they didn't want me to mention it. So there is so much. Like I say, in my career, I played it for about 40 minutes. I did record it, but I haven't uploaded it. And that just, it offers so much this year. There is so much freedom with the free roam. That is something that I really loved, and it's something that makes me want to play my career this year, which is something that hasn't really happened the last few years. And the fact that it's actually got a story this year, it feels a lot more like, how can I describe it? It's more like the road to WrestleManias. And I think the first PlayStation 2 game, Just Bring It, where you could actually roam around backstage, speak to different people, and depending on what you do, it's going to be different each time. So the fact that that's in there, and it's got that full story, it's not just random all the time, that's something that I'm looking forward to, and I can't wait to really just get in and play. And if people want to see it on the channel, it is something that I would actually do this year. I would actually do it for my career playthrough, because I think there's so much to offer.
I think that's the brilliant thing about 2K, like, they're not bringing these huge, massive new things in, they're just building on things they've got already. So we've had My Career for the last few years. Last year they focused on the promo engine and things with backstage and things like that. Now we've got free roam, and it's just things that are getting built on, and all these small little things that seem small on their own come together to make great improvements. And then when you think about what it might be like next year, it's just so exciting. I think they've done an awesome job. There is still a lot more that people don't know about. Fair enough, like you said, they're not new mods, but it's just tiny little things that overall will make a huge difference. And I definitely think this is one of the best. People might not be able to see that just yet from just videos everyone's put out, but it is a really, really good game, and there's literally so much there. Even if you did want to touch it all and release it all, you couldn't, because there is so much. And I think this is one of the ones where after a few months people start to get a little bit bored, but I think this one's got a lot more longevity about it, and the fact that there's a road to glory as well, I dare say people will still be playing it until like the next one comes out.
Yeah, there's so much to offer. I think 2K17 last year was a good example of the fact that, yes, the game was better in terms of the gameplay, at least I thought so, but it didn't have enough content in it to keep you going all the way till the next game comes out. So I think because of that, this year they have put a lot more into My Career to kind of keep you going back. And Road to Glory especially, it is something that you are going to start to want to play, because it's offering up new content that you're going to get monthly if you qualify and you win the match. So because of that, yes, it's only a helmet that you get in a TLC, but the potential is actually there to give you a new superstar, new updated Titantron movies. I know a lot of people have complained Kevin Owens' Titantron movie is the face of America. Maybe if you win Road to Glory, you could see an updated Kevin Owens get released, and then you can download that and get an updated Titantron movie, something for the Hardys. You never know, there is so much possibility, and I think that's the reason why I'm going to keep going back and playing Road to Glory.
I think the thing is as well, like, I really enjoyed last year's game, but it felt a little bit too realistic. It was kind of missing that fun element, whereas this year you've got the choice between an arcade style of wrestling and then you've got the realistic side. So depending on what you prefer to play, you can change the game up. Say if you wanted something a bit more, say if you just want to have fun with your friends and just beat the crap out of each other, you can do that. Or you can have like a realistic match and have that sort of fun. I think there's something there available for everyone, and it will be interesting to see how people play it, and then that's without touching the online stuff. So I don't know, I just think overall, I think people are going to go crazy when it comes out.
No, I think people are going to be a lot more impressed this year. I've got a couple more questions here, so I'll go through these. I just want to say thank you to Josh, thank you to Seth Rollins, #Meg as well, for subscribing. The question I want to ask next, it comes from Rackbuster City, and it's more directed to you. I'm going to direct this one. What is the best model of the women, in your opinion? Who looks the best?
I think Charlotte's definitely up there for me, but I do... the thing is, everyone looks brilliant this year. Last year you had people like Dana Brooke where they did look awful. They didn't look really bad, but there was elements and you're just like, that's not Dana Brooke. But because of the updated engine and things, there's not many people at all who don't look like who they're supposed to be. So like Ember Moon, Charlotte, God, literally anyone, they look so good. But I do think it's between, for me, it's Ember Moon and Charlotte, I think.
So I think they look, well, we've got Charlotte on screen at the moment, so I think that goes to show just how good her model looks. She is one that I've been really impressed with. I think they've done a really good job with her this year, especially that entrance attire. I think that looks really good. In terms of who I've been impressed with on the women's side,
there's that many women?
Well, there's that many women this year. I would say Charlotte, but I don't want to be exactly the same and go with the same one that you did. That's a hard.
Mickey
I think
James is another one.
Yeah, Mickey James is a really good one. I'll probably say, if I didn't go for Charlotte, I would go for someone like a Mickey James. Even Summer Rae, I think she looks a lot better this year. So it's good to see that they've put the sort of time in and updated the people that aren't actually on TV. So that is like another good reason just to check the game out. Chantal Wardlaw says, are there any new catching finishes? So that was one thing that I was disappointed by, because there isn't actually any new catching finishes this year. I thought there would be. They did add in the catching Scorpion Deathlock, I think it was, last year, and also done one for the Von Erichs, which was patched in as the DLC, but unfortunately they didn't actually add any for 2K18, so that was a surprise to me. Jeff Truth says, can you use Match Creator online? Well, I haven't tried online, but I do know that has been confirmed, so you can actually save your matches and then use them online, so that's going to be a nice little addition. CN says, is the PS4 Pro version miles ahead of PS4 and Xbox One, or is it just a little bit better? So I don't know what you make of this, Elle, but when the first gameplay got released from SummerSlam, a lot of people said it didn't look as good as the screenshots, and I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't think it looked as good, but I still think it looked really good. How do you think that compares to what we've actually been playing and what we've recorded? Because I think there's a slight difference with the Pro, but I don't think there is a huge difference overall. I think the big difference is going to be when you get the 8 people in the ring. I think the PS4 is going to not struggle, it will still play fine, but I think in terms of loading times and things, the PS4 Pro is going to be where it's a lot quicker to actually load the game up.
I think that's literally just where the problem, well, not even a problem's going to lie. I think that's literally probably one of the only differences you will get. Obviously, things are going to look a bit more sleeker on the Pro, but I think overall, I think a lot of it is down to the lighting and things like that. I don't think the graphics engine's much different, but then if you look at how the graphics were last year, I think generally overall, regardless of if it's on PS4 or not, I think it does look 10 times better. I know, like, I've recently been back and played on 2K17, and it's weird because it looks a lot more arcadey and not as like realistic as this just, but I don't think it's heavily relies on the graphics. I think it's just how the character models are, how the crowd are. I think all these little things, like I keep saying, just create a much neater package. I think that's exactly what it is. I don't think it's solely on the graphics, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think overall, I think a good example is if you look at the backstage gameplay, I don't think the lighting there looks as good as it does in the ring. So it kind of depends on the situations that you're in. Backstage, I think it looks more like it did last year in terms of the graphics. But obviously ringside, I think there's a huge difference there. Going back to the models though, one of the ones that I would say shows off the graphics, I know you're not a big fan of him, and I'm not really a huge fan myself, but Enzo Amore, I think his model looks by far one of the best ones. Even the render that you see on the selection screen, it just looks miles ahead of like a lot of the other ones. You can tell how much effort's gone in with the attire and the face scan itself. So I think if you want to compare it, that would be a good one to do a comparison between the Xbox One version of the game and the PS4 Pro. So once the game comes out, I will do a comparison and see just what the difference is. But overall, I would say it's probably going to be more down to the smoothness of the gameplay, as opposed to sort of the graphics overall.
I think that's like a really good point. It's like, I think the lighting itself, like, done a massive improvement. They've still updated the models because you can see just those small details, like I obsessed over sweat and things like that, which look great. But like when I said to you, like when I played as Alicia Fox, for example, the proportions of everybody's model, it seems so much more realistic. You don't have these extra long limbs or anything like that. Everything looks like it's in the right amount of proportion. Like when you look at Charlotte and Natalia, for example, at the minute, the look on TV, you don't have one that's really tall and slim. It looks real and everyone looks fuller, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but just the models and the proportions seem so much better, and it just goes to show with this, like, now we've ditched the previous consoles and things like that. If this is the improvement, can you imagine when next year and things like that, when they improve on this, it just goes to show like how far things have come.
Yeah, no, I think year over year we're seeing a lot more improvements now. Especially, I know a lot of people will still have sort of last gen, so they probably won't appreciate us saying this, but I think the fact that they have got rid of the last gen version now, I think this is where we're going to see them improvements come in. And it does suck if you don't have the PS4 or the Xbox One, but I think overall for the future of the game, it's made a big difference. So it's something that I'm now looking forward to seeing, just how they use them resources. And going by this year, they seem to be on the right track. They seem to have done quite a bit. One of the questions that keeps popping up in the chat comes from RevELLeution. It says, what is the new moves pack? Now, as far as I'm aware, I don't think any moves have actually been announced for it. There may be one or two that are listed on the 2K website, so you can get them at www.2k.com. But so far they haven't released a full list of all moves. But usually I think that comes out maybe around January if they stick to the same sort of time frame. Going on in terms of the questions, the Gaming Bunny asks, can you play the Royal Rumble online? That's not been confirmed yet. I know Match Creator is online, but that's one of the few ones that haven't been revealed. So it's been a few years since we could actually do that. I missed who asked this, but one of the people in the chat says, in regards to the women, Elle, which is the most fun to play with? Which have you preferred using this year?
See, I didn't get to play as that many people because I was focusing on the creation stuff, but Mickie James is really, really fun to play as. I played a match with my Carswell, and that was really fun, and I think that was Ember Moon's moveset I used. So, like, from the two that I've played with most, Ember Moon and Mickie James, it depends on your playstyle. If you want to play someone like a powerhouse or a bit of a brawler, I think Asuka was a brilliant choice, but if you want a bit more of a fun baby face, I'd definitely go with Mickie James.
It's a good one saying Mickie James because she's someone new and fresh in there, so she's got a lot of new moves in there. Rackburst City's just asked, I was going to check this, is the updated NXT women's title in the game, or is it just the regular one?
It is, yeah.
It's
in there.
We'll go answer for that one.
And it looks really good.
Looks really good. I'll see if I can put up the video for it if we get time.
It was at the very start of the video at the Natalia and Charlotte one.
Ah, right. There you go. If you go back in the stream, then you should be able to check that bit out. One of the other questions in regards to Royal Rumble comes from Chantel Wardlaw. She says, can we eliminate people using the carry system in the Royal Rumble? So you can do this. What I'm going to be uploading tomorrow is the full 30-man Royal Rumble, and I would say if you haven't seen much of the Rumble itself, check that one out because it is really surprising just how easy it is to get eliminated from the Royal Rumble. I'm not sort of... I don't want to big up how good I am on the game, but when it comes to the Royal Rumble, I absolutely sucked. I was waiting ages to actually get in there, and when I did, I can't remember who I come up with. It might have been Triple H. I think he might have just buried us. But then other people like Curtis Axel and things, you had them eliminating all different kinds of people, and it as far as I could tell, it doesn't seem to be down to the fact of stamina or your health. It seemed to be quite random, and I don't know if that is something that's going to patch or not, but in regards to that, what I mean is, if you get thrown over the ropes and you're on the apron, people can clothesline you off with just a regular move, and if you don't reverse it, that's you gone, you're out of the Royal Rumble. So this year, you can literally do a Santino and get in the ring and get clotheslined straight out of it. That is how hard the Rumble is. So if you miss that one reversal, that's it. You're one shot of going to WrestleMania. It can all be over in an absolute instant. So I found it really hard. But getting back to the main part of the question, yes, you can use the carry system. So to do that, it's just a case of walking over towards the ropes. And you do need the new ability skill, which is, I think it's called ring toss out. So if you've got that, if you hold them in the carry position, you press R1 and up, down, left or right on the right stick, then you have to walk over towards the ropes and press R1 and square, and I think that then throws them out, but it's only if you've actually got that move. So again, it's irreversible unless you keep on pressing circle to actually cancel that carry. If you miss that opportunity, that's it, you're out of the Rumble. And again, it just shows you how hard it actually is. How did you find it?
Yeah, well, I won't go into my first instance of the Rumble.
Yeah, but skip that one. It was worse than that.
But I think that's what I love, because literally anyone can win at any time, anyone can be eliminated at any time, and that basically is what the Rumble is. I think they maybe should have the option of maybe the gameplay of how it used to work last year for people who don't like that, but I think that's probably going to make the game much more accessible for other people who don't really want to play out long drawn Royal Rumbles where you have to wait half an hour for people to be eliminated and things. It's just going to be fun, and can you just imagine playing that with like 8 of your friends or whatever? I think that in itself is like an awesome thing, and just the way that people can be eliminated. Like, I know there's a whole skin in the cat where someone flies over the rope and yet they hold on and pull themselves up.
Yeah.
But you can literally run into them and bounce them off with your ass, and like, how much better can it get? I think it's just so much more fun, and it's something that needed to be brought back into the games, because fair enough, realistic is good, but sometimes you just want to beat people up for the fun of it and throw them out the ring.
Well, that's the thing. I think one thing that we missed when the game went to PS4 and Xbox One, that whole arcade fun style, that was what disappeared. And I think this year it is starting to come back. And one of the reasons for that is the way that they've changed it. So it's not all simulation, there is a bit of leeway. And when you go through the options, I don't think I've shown this off yet, but there is little options in there like squash match and a couple of other things that make it a bit more arcadey. So because of that, it makes it so much more fun to play. Plus the fact you can set finishers if you do create a match, so you can actually start out with 1 to 3 finishes, I think it is. You can't set them per person. If you set 3, everyone in the match has 3. If you set 1, everyone in the match has 1. But it's still a good way just to go through the game and experience it a different way, as opposed to playing it and doing it full on simulation.
Oh, totally. And it just goes to show like how much I know they get a lot of slack from people, but just small little details like that makes the game more fun, and it's just another element on what we've already got that they do bring to the table.
It is. There's so much in there. Lots of different customization. And in terms of the matches, create a match itself, I was going to put it on there because I was just changing the matches. But there's a lot of options in there. The one that I was disappointed with was the Royal Rumble. Because I can confirm now, in terms of match creator, you can't actually change the Royal Rumble match at all. It's listed in there as an option, but when you select it, you can't change any of the rules. So I was looking forward to maybe disabling over the top rope and turning on pins and submission, and then essentially what you would have would be a slobber knocker match where people will keep coming in and you have to pin them to eliminate them. But for some reason they've blocked everything in regards to match creator for the Royal Rumble, so I've seen that as a bit of an oversight, and I'm hoping it's something that they patch in, but so far it looks as though that won't actually be editable, which is a big shame in my opinion.
I think it's understandable for like the 30-man Royal Rumble, but I think 10-man Royal Rumble should have been there. And I'm a bit disappointed that there wasn't the 40-man Rumble. I think that would have been brilliant, because God knows there's enough people on the roster for it.
But yeah, they could have even done that. Put in an option for like 40-man. Go extreme, 50-man Royal Rumble. But yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can do this year. And I think once you get the game and you go through all the options, you'll be able to see for yourself just what you can change. And the beauty is, you can save the matches, so you don't have to set it up all the time. When you actually go into the player menu, if you choose one-on-one, you'll see all the different options for singles, ladder match, and then custom matches. And when you select that, that's where you can select the ones that you've saved in the past. So it's really easy to use. To go through some other questions, Tana Rodriguez says, when will I be continuing the Did You Know series? That is something I did want to try and put one episode out, but I don't feel as though the content that I've got, I could do a good enough version. I've got clips I could use, but I would rather wait until the game comes out and I've got some better looking things. So that'll probably come out the sort of week after the game releases, but there's plenty that I'll be covering, and I cannot wait to start that because it was one of my favourite series that I actually done last year. Chantel says, in regards to the carry system, can you use it in the elimination chamber, like with pods or the steel balls? So you can use it in the chamber. Now I was told by Yard, I don't know if you tried this out, but apparently it's my Yard, it says that if you use the carry moves in the chamber, you can throw them from in the ring to the outside and vice versa. But whenever I tried this, it didn't seem to work. but I do know you can throw them into the actual wall of the chamber itself. Did you have any luck with it?
See, I didn't actually play the match itself, like I just simulated it so people could kind of like just see how the AI reacts in Elimination Chamber, because for me it's always been one of the matches where the AI kind of goes a bit mental and doesn't know what to do, but it just showed that how far it's come. But for me, I didn't get to try it, but I think I dare say I can't see why you couldn't do it, because it's not that much more different from some of the other match types we've got.
Yeah. See, I didn't get it work in the chamber, aside from actually throwing them into the chamber wall itself. But one thing that I did find was, if you watch the Universe mode video that I put out, I think it was yesterday, the 30 minutes of Universe, one of the cool things is that not only can you throw people into the ring post or the barricade, but you can actually throw people into the Minitron, and I found that to be a really cool one, because Braun Strowman just picks up Roman Reigns, and he kind of, it sort of looks like an F5 as he throws him against the Minitron. So I found that to be really cool. There's lots of like different things, throwing people off the stage, the barricades, the announce tables. There's a lot that you can actually do with the carry system, and I'm sure there'll be even more once the game comes out and you actually get the time to spend with it and see what there is. But there's a lot of potential there, and I'm sure that it's something that will get sort of built on as time goes over. The only downside, and the thing that I wasn't as keen about the carry system, is the fact that you can't actually change the moves and create a move set. Because I thought,
yeah,
if you sort of, if you press up on the right stick, it'll go into the powerbomb position. So I thought, if you do that, maybe you can go into create a move set and change that, so when you press X, it doesn't do a powerbomb, it does something else from that position. Maybe drops them down for a Styles Clash or something like that. But so far this year, there is no option for that. So all the moves that you see in regards to the carry system, they seem to be the same for all the superstars in the game, regardless of if they're heavyweight, cruiserweight, women. It seems to all be the same so far.
I think while it is like a massive shame, I think it is one of those things that next year there'll either be more moves that you can do with that, or I think they will do it so you can transition into other things. I think, like I've said constantly, I think small things like this, while it does bring a lot already, just think of what it's going to be like for years to come where they just add on it. And I think just the fact that the carry and drag system is in it now, it just opens up so many more moves than there already is in the game. And like I say, it makes the arena kind of like a weapon itself. You can literally do a selection of 4 moves in any part of the arena. And if you think like it's like 4 different moves every single place, that's like 100 more moves.
Yeah, no, it would be so much more that you can actually do with this. One of the questions in regards to it comes from Kyler Rocks. He says, let's say your finisher is the powerbomb and you have the powerbomb carry system. Can you use the finisher while in the carry system? So that is one of the cool things that I haven't really spoke about properly yet, because I don't know which moves work with it. But what we've found is if you have certain moves, certain finishers do actually work from the carry position. So one of those is the attitude adjustment. So if you've got, it seems to work from any position. So if they're in the powerbomb position, fireman's carry, regardless of what the position you're in, if you've got a finisher, if you press it, then you'll go straight into the air, so you can actually perform that from there. And then the Styles Clash, that's also in there. So if you've got them in the powerbomb position, then he does actually drop them down and go for the Styles Clash. So other moves like the powerbomb should actually work from that position.
And I think it'll be great to see what kind of moves people try to do, because I know we did try and do it with Baron Corbin and things, and it didn't seem to work for him, but there's that many moves in the game, who knows what it'll work with, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of things people do. It's kind of like how when Breakout first came in, we had people doing hundreds of different types of videos just to see if it works, and it's just about like exploring the game when it comes out.
Well, that's the thing. I think when the game comes out, one of the most interesting videos to watch people do will be the sort of extreme moments and different videos like that, because there is so many different ways that you can actually use it. It's all down to your personal preference and how you actually use it. So I think it'll be a really interesting watch and just see what different people do to actually get away with it. Going back to the questions, Radioactive says, if we do 8-pack challenge, can you turn off ring exits? Oh no, can you enable ring exits? So usually when you get sort of 6-man, 8-man matches, they're all stuck in the ring. As far as I know, yes, you can. You can turn that off. So it's not over the top rope or anything like that, and you can actually get outside and go around. So that should give you that option. There is a lot in there. It gives you options for all kinds of things that you can make. One of the ones I done was the First Blood match, and I know when Elle was going through it, not only can you do First Blood, but you can set eliminations for that. So you can effectively have a First Blood elimination match and just have everyone start bleeding to get eliminated from it. So that's something that we've not seen in any of the past games. So it's another really cool addition.
Oh, totally. It's just a shame you can't do it with the women, because like I had this whole concept called Bloody Elle that I wanted to do, and I can understand why it's not in there for the women. It's not something that WWE put out there, but because it's a game, it would have been really fun and just like another element to the game.
Yeah, no, there's so many elements in there, and I think, again, I keep saying it, but come Friday when the game comes out for early access, that's when people will realise just how much there is actually in this game. Because when you think, yes, there's no 2K showcase, and that seems like a big thing, the fact that there is a lot of small additions and then additions to my career, like kind of the bigger things, there is a lot of little things that do make up, in general, a big addition to the game. And I think that's when you spend the time with it and you realise that. You do realise what they've actually spent this time on.
Definitely, and I think the biggest limitation for people in this game will literally be their own creativity, because if you can't come up with these concepts and try them out yourself, then you won't know if they work or not. And I think that is going to be the thing, just people exploring for the first few weeks, coming up with these great match types with God knows what crazy names, and it'll be nice if you can use them online. I think that'd be a great thing for people. That's like a showcase in itself, and it'll be great to see what people do come up with, because like the First Blood elimination match, that's like brilliant. I think that's like a great concept, and it's something that you won't see on TV, so it's exclusive to the series.
Yeah, no, it's one of them cool things. Hey, if it takes off, you never know, we might see it on TV. It might be one of them matches where I think it was I can't remember what it was called now, but it was the one where the championship was on the line for a set amount of time, the championship scramble. I'm sure that appeared in the video game, and it was popular in there, and then actually brought that to TV. So you never know. First Blood elimination, it could happen in the game. We could actually see it on TV. Things go back sort of a bit more, well, less PG, a bit more attitude-ish.
It'll be interesting to see if you can set up some sort of championship scramble. I'm not quite sure, because we've literally had like over a week since we last played it, and my brain is literally fizzled from all the 2K content that I can barely remember what we've done, and because there is so much that we still have yet to do,
yeah.
I literally have zero clue what we've done since.
It is. I think like come next week, once we've had some time to actually spend with the game and play it, and not just record things, I think that's when we'll sort of take it in, and brains can actually like take a little break from it. Before I go back to the last amount of questions, because we're getting close to the pre-show now, I think it's about to start. I'm just going to quickly ask you for your predictions. So we had Charlotte and Natalia earlier. What's your prediction for that match?
I think Charlotte will probably win, because I do think it only went to Natalia to hold it for Charlotte.
I would like to see Natalia win it. I think she's been there for a long time now, so I think she deserves a decent run with it.
Oh, she does.
So we'll see how that one goes. And then the last one we're going to do is this match what we've got on right now. So we've got Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Jinder Mahal, the one-day Maharaja. What's your prediction?
See, I'm going to go with like the person who reads the internet message. I know that there is another indie tour coming, so I do think they'll probably keep it on Jinder for that reason. Although I would like to see Shinsuke title run.
I'm still shocked that Jinder beat him last time. So I'm sure Shinsuke is going to win it this time. I can't see him losing 2 matches on the main roster. No, nah, I've got to say it's got to be Shinsuke Nakamura. First title run for him on the main roster, sure.
I will say that I know a lot of people haven't liked Jinder as champion, but I think he's done an alright job. I think he's proved that he does deserve to be a bit higher than the mid card. So it'll be interesting to see, regardless, if he wins or loses, where he goes from there.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Quick question from Rackbuster in regards to the pay-per-view itself. Do you think Carmella is going to cash in tonight?
Yeah, I think she's going to screw Charlotte over, and then I'll be sat raging.
Ooh, do you think so?
I think there's a good chance. I think they want to kind of establish Charlotte as a major player now, so I think they might screw Natalia over of having a decent reign, and then screw Charlotte over. It makes Carmella a massive heel, and it kind of establishes Charlotte a bit more than she already is.
Ooh, interesting. Right, well, we'll wait and see if that actually happens. We've run out of footage, unfortunately, for Hell in a Cell, so if I go with the Royal Rumble for the time being. We're just going to answer a couple of quick questions, but I jotted down here. The first one comes from...
Is it how big is Batista?
No, I have seen that one, but I don't have an answer to it, unfortunately. Trevor Allen asks, does DIY have their theme? They do have the theme. The Tron's in the game as well, so you can select that. WrestleShed says, can you have fatal 5-way matches? Samoa Joe seemed to confirm that in the roster reveal, but that's not actually in the game. He's a liar. It's not in there. So we had a look for that, but that's not included. Never Lose Fool says, can you pull down the straps as a taunt? So I don't know if people have seen this, but Kurt Angle and The Undertaker both have the option to pull down their straps when they go for a finisher. As far as I know, that is part of the wake-up taunt, but I don't know if it's related to how far you've been in the match, which is another reason I didn't want to cover it in a Did You Know, because I want to make sure I know the reason behind it first. So I think that's in relation to the stamina and how much damage they've taken, and then if you do a wake-up taunt, that's when it would do it, because generally they would do that towards the end of the match. Other questions?
I dare say that's superstar specific as well. I think if you used a created character, I don't think it'd work.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be in there. I think if you do alternate tyres as well, I kind of see it working with them. Chantel says, can you do finishes off the semi-truck, like an FU or a frog splash? So, again, a frog splash, yes, that was my bad throat. Yes, you can. You can do all of the ones you can do off the stage. So what I'll probably do tomorrow is upload all the stage OMGs and the semi-finishers. So you can do things like the AA off there, the powerbomb. There's a couple of different moves, there's not too many. And then in regards to diving moves, it's kind of similar to the Hell in a Cell, I think. Sorry, the cage. I don't think it's one that you can actually set and create a moveset, but it's one that is done automatic. So I think it's kind of like, it's sort of a diving knee type drop. It's sort of weird, it's kind of a splash. But if I can, I'll show that off as well. It might actually be in the backstage video I done, but I'm not entirely sure about that one. But there we go, that pretty much covers all the questions there that we've got time for. I don't want to go on because obviously the pre-show is starting, people will want to watch that. So I guess we'll leave you all to go check out the pre-show. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully it's give you a little bit of information. There is so much though. Like I say, when the game comes out, you'll be able to answer a lot of the questions for yourself, and that's when you can really sit down and just see what's in there, because there is so much. Cannot wait.
And to think we've played 12 hours of it roughly, and we still haven't touched it.
Yeah, barely touched it whatsoever. There's so much in there. But yeah, I cannot wait for it coming out. I'm hyped, and I've played it, so that just goes to show you how much is in there and how good it is. So
you forgot to tell them we met Gallows and Anderson.
No, but we can't talk about that. We totally didn't meet Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah, no, we didn't meet
nothing
them.
happened with Gallows and Anderson, and there definitely won't be a video on the channel or on Elle's channel with Gallows and Anderson. That totally did not happen.
It's all this TK stuff. It fizzles my head.
It is. You must have dreamt it. It didn't happen. So definitely don't keep an eye out on either of our channels for a video with Gallows and Anderson, because that just won't happen. You won't see it. It's like John Cena. You can't see it.
They definitely didn't call him an alcoholic or flirt with me or anything like that.
Yeah,
so
that definitely didn't happen.
Away.
Never. Not gonna happen. So there you go, guys. Don't keep an eye out for that, because that won't be getting uploaded. But then again, you never know. So yeah, that is pretty much our Q&A for it. We hope you enjoy Hell in a Cell. Make sure to check out Elle's channel. The link is in the video description, so you can go show her some love, just like Gallows and Anderson. But again, I hope you've enjoyed this. Hopefully we'll try and do another one before the game actually comes out, because I know a lot of you have got questions, and I apologise for not being able to get through all of them, but there is so many in there. But yeah, I'll try and do another one before the game comes out, and then I can answer a few more. So if you've got any more, once this video actually gets posted, if you leave your question in there, I'll try and get a few questions before the next one actually starts. Be a little bit more prepared. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this stream. Until next time, hope you enjoy Hell in a Cell. Catch you later.
Bye.